Hi guys, so in this video we are going to be taking a look at the synastry, so the overlay of two charts of Myra Hindley and Ian Brady. So this was a pair that are very famous for committing a lot of crimes back in the 50s, 60s, I think it was. I know they got arrested for it in 1965, but basically two psychopaths who unfortunately murdered a lot of children. They were the Moors murderers. So what I've done, I've overlaid their charts, and I just wanted to have a look in this video and see how they showed up in each other's lives. So this is what Synastry does. It shows how each person is affecting the other person. So on the inner circle here, we have Myra Hindley. So she is the blue planets around here. And then Ian Brady, it's the orange planets around the edge here. So we can take a look at their synastry, their compatibility, and actually see how they affected each other essentially. Sorry if you can hear that squeaking. Sounds like there's a bird in my table. So now we're looking at synastry charts. The things that draws me straight in are conjunctions, because conjunctions are one of the most powerful aspects of synastry. When you think about the fact that there are 360 degrees in a natal chart, for your partner or whoever you're comparing charts, for one partner to have something conjunct the other partner, that is something really strong, because they could be anywhere around that 360 wheel. So for it to be a conjunction, it's a big part of synastry. Now, first thing, when you look at this chart, one of the first things that I saw was this Mars South Node conjunction. So this is Ian Brady's Mars in Pisces, Pisces being the sign that lacks boundaries, conjunct Myra Hindley's South Node. So this would suggest that he is a karmic relationship for her. They have met in a previous life, because anything on the South Node, the North Node in either chart, and there's more than one thing here, but we're going to come on to this in a minute, is suggesting past lives. So Mars is violence, okay, and it's on her South Node. So it's like he's bringing violence into her life, and this is something she needs to learn, something that she needs to release in this lifetime. It could be that this has happened in a previous lifetime as well with these two. It could be that they agreed in a previous life to come into this life and do what they've done for their souls to grow. Either way, there is a karmic connection here between the two of them. And Mars representing violence, anger, aggression. And the side note being that Mars in Pisces lacks boundaries. And on the one hand, it can be that you can't assert yourself. Obviously, we know that Ian Brady could assert himself. But it's very much a case of he had no boundaries. He did not know where the line was to be drawn. Now, interestingly, also, this is his Mars is falling into her 10th house of public image. So his violent crimes affected her public image. And we know that she became famous for her relationship with him and what they did together. Now, his South Node is conjunct her Uranus. So his South Node falls into her first house. So his past lives, his karmic contract is conjunct the planet of being different, of being individual. Now they were both extremely individual, and being in her first house. So her having Uranus in the first house is very much doing her own thing, being seen as independent and different. And okay, so the negative manifestations of this are just not giving a fuck and just doing your own thing, being a rebel. Being a rebel. That is what Uranus in the first house is, being a rebel. Conjunct his South Node. So again, this is past lives. This is karmic contracts of agreeing to meet in this lifetime. And it's almost like he's kind of activating this in her. Now, they both had childhood trauma from their families. And it's almost like coming together. There was like an activation. So his South Node on her Uranus in the first house, it's almost like it's activating her rebel side. I think from stuff I've read just on Wikipedia, he encouraged her a lot with doing the things that they did together, and she's easily influenced. She's got a lot of mutable placements in her chart, easily influenced, going with the flow. And his South Node, again, it's things that they need to be letting go of, but actually they're not. It's activating this for her. So South Node synastry placements are tricky because it's like things that your soul needs to learn, but it's not necessarily things that is not necessarily going to bring something that's stable in this lifetime, depending on the planets involved. Now we can also see that his Chiron, which is the wound, the wound that cannot be healed, is conjunct her Lilith and her Venus. So it's like he's bringing pain to her to herself, because this is her first house. He's bringing pain into her life, into her identity, into who she is. He's bringing pain to her planet of love, and the needing and the wanting to be loved. He's bringing pain to her. What they did meant that she couldn't live a normal life. I don't know how her life was. I know she had a lot of childhood trauma, but it was like he persuaded her, and then he's brought this pain into her life. Lilith is pain. It's the black moon. It's not pain. It's shame and guilt, being exiled. This was Lilith, who was exiled from the Garden of Eden because she wouldn't do what Adam wanted her to do. So she was exiled, and there was a lot of guilt, and keep saying pain. There was a lot of guilt and shame around that. And his Chiron conjuncting this, it's like he's bringing pain to her, and he's activating this shame and guilt that she has in her first house. And she would have felt a lot of shame around the things that she did, obviously being a murderer of children. Now, another huge part of this, again, so these are conjunctions. It's really powerful. His Pluto, power, control, manipulation, is conjunct her sun. Look at that, dead on her sun. She couldn't get away from him. He had control over her. He manipulated her. He was obsessive over her, and he had her under his control. Okay, we can see that just from that one placement, which I find so interesting. And then already, I mean, in her birth chart, she has her own sun conjunct Pluto, and the sun can represent the father. And I know that her dad was very, very powerful and controlling over her, abused her. But it can also mean that you are a powerful person yourself, and it's almost like Brady is activating this power within her, and they've used that for evil, because Pluto is your shadow side, it's your dark side, and it's activating this evil in both of them. Now, her North Node falls into his 5th house of children, which I just find creepy. Then his vertex, which is the point, it's a point in the chart which symbolizes fated meetings, falls into her 5th house of children. So we've got this 5th house of children stuff going on, which is a little bit creepy. Her moon falls into his 7th house. She was meant to have a relationship with him. She would have felt connected to him. She would have felt drawn to him. And his North Node falls into her 7th house. They were meant to meet. He was meant to meet her. He was meant to be part of her relationship story. His Lilith, shame, falls into her 7th house. So her partner house, her 7th house, has attracted this person of shame, of guilt, of darkness, Black Moon Lilith. And now what's interesting is that this stellium that he's got in Capricorn, his sun, his moon, Mercury and Venus, he's got stellium in Capricorn, which already, if we're looking at his chart individually, Capricorn is the sign of power, and obviously it's ruled by Saturn, which is the cold, emotionless teacher. So if we're looking at this negatively, there's quite a lot of serial killers that have a lot of Capricorn placements, because it's like that coldness, the lack of emotion, and the need for power. And this stellium of his falls into her 8th house of death. They kill people. And I just think that is so telling. And this is opposing, so they've got a lot of oppositions going on here. So this is his stellium here, but she's actually got her own stellium in Cancer. So she's got her sun, Mercury, Jupiter, and no, Venus is in the 1st house, but she's got 3 planets in Cancer, and it's opposing his planets in Capricorn. So there's this opposition here. There's this not seeing things. They're seeing things from separate sides. So there would have been a case of not getting along through some of this placement, because he's seeing things from over here and she's seeing things from over here. Okay. What else had I noticed? His Saturn is also squaring her Venus. Okay, so this is restriction around love. This is making someone feel unloved. Saturn is cold, and it's blockages and its discipline, and squaring Venus where she wants to be loved, there's this lack of love. Okay, there's this fear of not being loved, and he's activating this. His Saturn is activating this for her. And his Uranus falls into her 12th house. The 12th house is pain and suffering, it's mental health, it's also prison. He's brought this into her life. I'm not saying he made her do it, she's her own person, but there was this persuasion going on. And it's funny because his Uranus, which rules his 10th house of public image, falls into her 12th house. They end up going to prison because of the things that they achieve together through these killings that they do, which I just think is, it's just weird. Where's his 12th house? So his 12th house is up here. So that doesn't actually have anything. No, so that hasn't got anything in it. That's kind of irrelevant. But then we've got, so his Jupiter, which is in Aquarius. It's all about being different. This is right on his public image, his 10th house. So being different, being that rebel, is opposing this Sun Pluto conjunction. So who she is being opposed by his beliefs. So his beliefs, being out there, his reputation is opposing who she is. She actually wants to hide away. She's got Sun conjunct Pluto on the IC. She wants to hide. She's got all of her planets are under the horizon. Pretty much, apart from these two are over the horizon ever so slightly, but all of her planets are hidden. And his weird beliefs and weird, unusual Aquarius morals is opposing who she really wanted to be. It's pulling her out of who she wanted to be. She wanted to hide away. She wanted to be inward. And his, the beliefs that he had in Aquarius, the rebel, doing things differently, standing outside the box, being different from the crowd, in this case for horrendous reasons, is opposing her wanting to hide away, And then his Saturn falls into her 10th house and his Mars. So her 10th house is her public image. Have I mentioned this? No, I haven't mentioned about Saturn. So his Saturn is hindering her public image. It's making her look like this awful person, and the Mars thing as well, the aggression falling into her 10th house. So her public image was very much tainted by his malefic planets in this sense. Now, I'm sure there's plenty more things that I'm not spotting in this Synastry chart. So if you have noticed anything, then please do let me know in the comments. But I just wanted to switch over to the day they got arrested. Not the actual day, the month they got arrested. I'm not sure of the actual day. I know it was in October 1965. This is Ian Brady's chart, right? And he has got this Pluto-Uranus conjunction in his 5th house of children. He killed children, and I just think that is so telling that he's got that in, that conjunction happening in his 5th house. And he's got Saturn retrograding, Saturn ruling his 9th house of the law and ruling this stellium that he has in Capricorn, is now retrograding, and it's conjunct his natal Mars. This is when they got arrested. So this is like going backwards, stopping everything that's going on because they got arrested for the things that they did. And then switching over to her transit chart. So there's Myra's, So that conjunction is happening in her 4th house of family and home. The Pluto-Uranus conjunction is in her 4th house. This is all about, so the Pluto-Uranus, it's like, Pluto is the planet of change. Uranus is unexpected. And Pluto is obviously also the planet of like death and rebirth. Uranus is like, bam, let's switch things up. Let's really switch things up. So for him, it was in the 5th house of children and joy and fun, switching things up. He's no longer allowed to do his fun of murdering people. And this is happening in her 4th house. So her home is suddenly like, boom, you are no longer doing this. You are being arrested. And this is the end of time for you. This is it. You are finished, kind of thing. Again, Saturn retrograding in her 10th house of career, public image. It's like who she's being seen by the public is now really being looked at in a disciplined way, in a in a block, like Saturn's like, no, this is the end of your public image. You're through. You're done with. North Node conjunct her Uranus in the first house. Who you are, this rebellion that you're having, this and then Saturn's here as well, and it's like there's now some restrictions around who you are as a person because you're going to go to jail. I wonder if anything's happening with Venus. Venus rules her 12th house of prisons, and it's conjunct Mars like in the seventh. So conjunct Mars, like suddenly, like no, you are off to prison. You are off to prison, girl. Um, let's just go back to his because there was something else he was having. Yeah, like he's having half a nodal return. So his North Node in the eighth, which is the eighth house of death, doesn't mean you need to go and kill people if your North Node's in the eighth. It's about transforming and other people's resources and stuff. He's actually having half a nodal return. So his South Node is conjunct this. So this is big life changes, big karmic changes for him. And he's having a Saturn return almost. Can you see Saturn's coming up to his Saturn in the 11th house of people? So actually Saturn is blockages, it's conjunct his Mars. It's like, no, karmic lessons come with your Saturn return. And for him, this is the time when it was all over. So yeah, I'm going to finish there, guys. I hope you got some value from that. Please let me know if there's things I haven't spotted. I just quickly put this together this morning. It was just a really brief video I wanted to do and just explain for anyone that's interested in synastry how things can show up. Very interesting topic. Please let me know in the comments if you've got any requests, as I definitely want to be doing more of these videos. This is one of my first YouTube videos, but I love sharing information like this with you. So please let me know if you have any requests or if you've spotted things in here that I haven't mentioned. I'd be welcome to your input. Let's get a conversation going. And if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, please subscribe, please like, because I really want to get my YouTube out there, and it helps if you like and subscribe. So I'd really appreciate that. Bye.